Welcome to the $100 MBA Show. Today is a Q&A weekend episode where we answer your question right here on the show. If you have a question, just send it in. You can email us at contact@100mba.net, or you can use our Speak It option where you record your question and we'll play it right here on the show. You can check it out on the show page at 100mba.net/show. As always, I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today's question comes from Kelly, and Kelly asks, whose work do you follow online, and what work do you find inspiring? Very interesting question. This one had me thinking a lot, and I'm just going to give you an honest answer, as we always do here on Q&A Weekends. So let's get down to business. This episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by Rerun. Rerun is for any small business, organization, or association wanting to automate the recurring subscription or membership billing. No monthly fees, pay only for what you process at a low flat rate. Visit rerunapp.com/podcast for a 30-day free trial. That's rerunapp.com/podcast. So Kelly asks, whose work do you follow online and what work do you find inspiring? Wow, this is a tough one because I used to follow a lot of different people online as I was growing as an entrepreneur, and that number of people or number of organizations started to get less and less as I started to grow as an entrepreneur. What happened is when I grew as an entrepreneur, I became a peer of the people I looked up to. So I started to learn less and less from them because I started to grow as an entrepreneur. The other thing is that I just really started to get busy. I mean, we were really busy here at the MBA and at Webinar Ninja. So I really don't have as much time as I used to really follow a lot of people's work. Most of my time is used creating content for the show, for the blog, for Webinar Ninja, creating the software. So I kind of have my plate full. But in a lot of ways, I wish I had as much time as I used to develop and learn as fast as I did before. But I'm learning and I'm developing in a different way now, through my own experiences, through the development of our own business. Now, having said that, there are people that I do follow online that I really enjoy their work, and I do find them inspiring. I really love businesses that are small in numbers, meaning they have a small team, but they have an incredible impact on the world. They've managed to keep their team small, but they're still doing great. They're still getting their message out there to millions and millions of people. And in many cases, they're making millions and millions of dollars as well. So I'm very inspired by those types of businesses because that's really how I see our business. Our business is a small team, and we're growing slowly in numbers in terms of our team, but we really want to kind of have the maximum impact given the number of people that work in our team. So let me mention a few people and a few organizations that we do follow online and we really find inspiring. We're going to put all the links to these people and organizations in today's show notes. You can find that at 100mba.net/MBA211. So the first person is Chris Brogan, and Chris Brogan has a great perspective and philosophy in his business. I've gotten to know him a bit more recently, and I think he's a very approachable person. He's a very down-to-earth person, and he's kept his ego in check even though he's had tremendous success. I mean, he has a New York Times bestseller, and his business is very, very successful. He's also a very highly paid speaker because he has a lot of great things to say. He has his finger on the pulse, and he knows what people need in certain points in their business. And I also think he's a fantastic communicator. He's a great writer as well. So I'd highly, highly recommend you check out chrisbrogan.com and try to get to know Chris a bit, get familiar with his work, the things that he's creating. You're going to hear more from Chris because he's going to be giving a guest lesson in a future episode here on the $100 MBA Show. When I got to know him a bit, I said to myself, I have to have Chris Brogan on the $100 MBA Show because I think he has a lot to offer when it comes to building the right business for you, how to do that, the strategies. He's also an excellent blogger. He knows how to create a great blog and create great blog posts on a consistent basis. So definitely watch out for that episode coming up soon on the $100 MBA Show. Another person that I've been following for some time, and I look up to them, and I find him as a mentor to me in many ways. And I've mentioned him a whole lot of times on the show, and that's Michael Port. Michael's known for his program and book, Book Yourself Solid, as well as Heroic Public Speaking, which is his program on how to be a dynamic performer on stage, not just giving talks. But I follow his work because I love the way he does business. I think he has a very honest, straightforward approach to business. He knows how to sell without being, uncomfortable. He's a very likable person, and I think it shines through because he's a very hardworking person, really cares a lot about what he does. He has a very strong work ethic, as well as his business ethics are very solid. I mean, I studied his sales video for a few days and took down notes and analyzed how he put together his script. He doesn't know this, but I did this because when we were creating our sales video for Webinar Ninja, I wanted to make sure that I made sure I focused on the right areas, because when I saw his sales video, I was like, wow, this is incredible. It's so effective. Even though it's longer than the typical sales video, I was glued. And I try to analyze why was it so effective. I try to break it down as much as possible so I know the key ingredients to a great sales video. So definitely check out Michael Port's work. I also think the work that John Lee Dumas and Kay Erickson are doing at Entrepreneur on Fire is very, very interesting. They've been growing their business at a steady pace the last few years. They're a small team, but they've done some incredible stuff. I mean, Entrepreneur on Fire has become the authority when it comes to creating a podcast. They have a great program called Podcasters Paradise where everybody who's a part of it just falls in love with it. They love it. They have thousands of members now, and they both have come into their own in the last few months or the last year or so, and it's really great to watch. And I love how they built their business from the ground up with just their idea and their hard work ethic. Now, I might be a little biased because I know John and Kay personally. I've gotten to know them in the last year or so I know a little bit about what kind of work is involved in creating Entrepreneur on Fire, how busy they actually are. They're really, really trying their best to become bigger than they can ever imagine, and I really think that it's very inspiring what they're doing. And any business or any person you're looking at, they all have their own special strengths. So John and Kay have strengths. Michael Port has strengths. Chris Brogan has strengths, and they're special in different ways. And you can learn from different people in different ways. So off the top of the head, those are the people that I've been following or find their work inspiring. I got one more, but before that, I want to talk to you about a really great podcast you really should subscribe to. You heard Jordan Harbinger here on the $100 MBA Show give his guest lesson, but you really should take a look at his podcast, The Art of Charm. The Art of Charm is a top 50 podcast on iTunes. That means he's one of the top 50 podcasts of all genres. I mean, comedy, everything. And he's been doing it for a very long time. He started his podcast back in 2006, and it's packed with wisdom in the true sense of the word. They cover topics like how to create confidence, how to get people to like and trust you, how to keep things fresh in relationships, how to create or end a relationship, productivity, and time management. It's fun, it's educational, and at the same time, it's not stuffy and textbook-like. Because Jordan really believes that personal growth should not be boring. The Art of Charm brings together entrepreneurs, artists, thinkers, leaders, and all-around interesting people to discuss relationships, attraction, life hacking, and success. One of the things I find interesting about The Art of Charm is how he teaches you how to increase your business contacts in a natural way, not in a pushy way, in a way that really you're making friends. And The Art of Charm has studied field-tested psychology principles from Special Forces, Navy SEALs, and world-class intelligence officers, then reverse-engineered those same strategies and applied them to social life. Guys, we all deserve an extraordinary life, and the Art of Charm podcast can help you achieve that. So go to artofcharmpodcast.com or find The Art of Charm in iTunes or Stitcher and start taking your life to the next level. We really enjoy the show, and we think you will too. Sometimes the work that you follow to inspire you, to give you direction, doesn't have to be in your market or in your genre or have to do with your particular style of business. It could be completely unrelated. A good example of this is, I just mentioned Jordan from the Art of Charm podcast. He has a lot of experience when it comes to podcasts and podcast production, so I can listen to his show to learn about production quality. But an extreme example of this is Mark Maron. I listen to Mark Maron's podcast at WTF because he's really good at his ad reads, at his, his sponsor reads. It's very natural, and I learn a little bit how to get comfortable with these reads. So you get the point. But I want to add one more thing. As you grow as an entrepreneur, you start to admire or look up to or inspire to be like more than just an individual, but an organization. And there's a couple organizations here I want to mention that I feel like they've done a great job with customer service and their branding as a whole. One of them is Buffer App. Buffer App is an app that you can use to buffer out different social media snippets or tweets or status updates. But their customer service and their interface and the way they deal with their customers is really refreshing, and I've learned a lot from them, and I'm trying to take what I learn and implement it in our own business. A really great business that I look up to when it comes to educating their audience is Wistia, wistia.com. They're a video hosting platform that we use, and Wistia is a great hub for education when it comes to shooting and recording and editing videos. And I love the way they put education first, and they use education to help support their product. In fact, tomorrow, our guest teacher is Chris Levine, and Chris Levine is from Wistia. If any of you follow Wistia's work, you'll find Chris's voice familiar because he's on a lot of these tutorial videos, and they do a great job with it. And his guest lesson is dynamite. You're going to really love it. It's a lot of fun. And I can't wait to share with you. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear Chris Levine's guest lesson on shooting your first video with equipment you already have. All right, guys, that wraps up today's lesson. Guys, remember, we want to hear from you. Make sure you drop us an iTunes rating and review and tell us what you think of the show. We read every single one of them. We love reading them. Here's one from Chris Fiction. Chris says, short bursts of